Thank you. Appreciate y'all all being here. I certainly sympathize with the problems of an explosion and problems that brought, Ms. Pinto. I come from East Texas, where during the Depression, the largest known oil reserve in the world at that time was discovered, and it lifted hundreds of thousands of people out of poverty. People flooded into our area. It gave them jobs, gave them hope, it gave them the ability to pay for health care. And I think Churchill said that the Allies floated to victory in their defeat of the Nazis and all the hate that represented on the East Texas oil field, or oil. So I know there are positives and I know there are negatives, but having personally seen how many people have been provided jobs, self-respect, ability to take care of themselves, the ability to lift themselves out of poverty when there was really nothing else that seemed to do it. Having seen the poverty return, the joblessness during the Obama administration in East Texas, people scrambling, trying to find jobs, but the oil and gas industry being particularly hard hit. I've watched it around our area, people begging for jobs, but the government regulation, the government pressures making it just difficult, seeing self-respect plummet, seeing the ability to take care of one's health care needs plummet. I see that there's two sides to that issue, but we learn by asking questions. I was wondering, you're from Counselor Chapter Navajo Nation, Northern New Mexico, and I love hearing and reading of your long hikes. What a nourishing thing when you can take long hikes, though understanding some plant life is not there. But how do you make a living? Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I live in an area where I can grow my own food and I don't have to leave my house. So there is no high priority for me to be able to have access to gas and oil. Mm-hmm. So it's making a living out there for me is a little simple, and I think that has a lot to do with my upbringing.
Nice. Have you had any federal government agencies come in and tell you how you had to grow your food, or where you could or where you couldn't grow food, or do you get to make those choices on your own?
Not personally, and I think it has a lot to do with there is no frequent visits from departments and government-related bodies, so there is currently no push to keep gardens or any type of plants like that. So
is the Navajo Nation pretty well allowed to govern their own local territory?
I believe, yes. I believe so.
So Representative Cook, it sounds like that's what you're asking for. It's just the opportunity the Navajo Nation has to have some say in your own governance of your own property. Am I getting that right?
Yes, sir. When you spend years at an NEPA process for your grazing allotment, and you have a line officer for the Forest Service look at you and all of your partners and family and take his hands and raise them above his head and say, I'm up here, I make the decisions, here's what I do, and you all are down here, you're supposed to bring me ideas and to do the work. It's a life-changing event for you and your business in the state of Arizona.
Well, we also have a lot of farms or ranches in East Texas raising cattle. We have some people that raise crops, some that raise cattle. It's a nice, simple life. I've worked on the farms a good bit myself growing up. In raising those cattle, you're pretty much free, am I getting that, to choose where you let the cattle graze without interference from the government?
No, sir, that is not true. We go to the Forest Service and we give them what we would like to do, and then they decide where and when and approve where we can put our cattle. In fact, the agencies has even gone as far as wanting to GPS where we are allowed to put salt blocks for our cattle out on the range, which I did not agree with.
Well, thank you. My time's expired, and I just hope and pray that maybe one of the results of this hearing will be that people in Arizona will have the same choices the Navajo Nation's been able to have. Thank you. I yield back.